Welcome to the 1996 Morris Lubricants British Motocross Championship, round one here at Canada Heights. Well, a big crowd was expected, and sure enough, a big crowd turned up to enjoy the racing. The trade stands doing, as they always do, a very brisk trade. Our WJ team here with a big signing for 96, the current World 250 champion, STEFAN EVERTS.
Well, I feel fine. I've been sick the last few weeks, and for this weekend I'm feeling much better. So I'm ready to race.
With EVERTS racing the British Championship for 96, what about his teammate Robbie Herring? Could he win the 96 crown? We asked him.
Hopefully my main aim at the end of this year is to have the #1 plate on the bike. But it's a long season, so I don't like to start off too strong, so I want to build up steadily, but start off this weekend with a top 3.
Moving down engine size to the 8-litre class, and the young man from Derbyshire, Paul Malin, what did he think for this year?
The 125 is probably my strongest class. I've had good results in the Grand Prix last year in 95, so I'm going to try and concentrate on winning the British Championship and the World Championship. All my efforts are pushed into the 125 class this year.
You've got an interesting new sponsor this year as well, Paul.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know if you've seen or heard the advert on the radio with Cadbury's boost with Vic Reeves, but slightly rippled with a flat underside and all that.
Malin, as ever, full of confidence. Two young men here I feel sure would like to upset his plans, Tony Marshall and Carl Nunn. James Payton and Lee Williams on the stand of Honda. Matt Bates here, the race team manager for Kawasaki, with Ricky Priest. Well, the 125s came down on to the line for the start of race 1 here at round 1 at Canada Heights. Who would it be that would get that gate first? Would it be Malin? Would it be Priest? Well, somebody flips it off the start. I think that was the Dane Jorgensen. But they get into that first corner. Ryan Bowes 32 amongst that group on the Skymast Suzuki, but it was Jorgensen 42. His first year of British Championship racing, and he's made a complete armpit of race 1. But up the hill they came. It was the Irishman Phil Neal on the 56 Kawasaki, but Malin on the Cadbury's Boost Yamaha was having none of it. Elbowing his way into the lead, Phil going down to second. The action was hot here as Ricky Priest goes through in 4th, and there is Jorgensen, minus that rear mudguard on that G-Shock Casio Suzuki for 96. But Malin in a determined mood, and Ricky Priest chasing now in 2nd spot. But it wasn't all over. There is Phil Neal down from 1st to 3rd. Good start for the Irishman for the 96 season. And the #2 plate belongs to the defending champion, the Swede Jochen Karlsson. He's on the move from a poor start. Craig Prattley, the other of the G-Shock Casio riders. But Malin it was that led. Very sandy, deep-rutted circuit here at Canada Heights, testing the skill and the confidence of these riders. Karlsson powering that RWJ 125 Honda up the sandy hills. Neil Prince, the former British 125 champion, now racing this year with Cat Finning Honda. Gary Davis from Shrewsbury, #20 behind him. John Barford on the Yamaha, #8. It was to be an up and down season for John, but not a bad round here at round 1. But Ricky Priest on the Craigley Heath Team Green Kawasaki #4. And Malin up the hill in very confident mood. Neil Prince moving up a place, up into 3rd as the last lap flag goes out. And the Dane, minus that rear fender, comes through. Brian Jorgensen. Out goes the checkered flag. Malin wins Heat 1 of round 1 of the 96 Morris Lubricants British Championship. Home behind him in 2nd place, it was the Swede Jochen Karlsson. Then Neil Prince and Ricky Priest came home in 4th. 56 Phil Neal, he finished 6th with Nathan Shelton's Yamaha coming home 5th. Barford eventually finished 10th with a leg problem. The open class came down onto the line for their first race of the season. Who was it going to be? Would it be Everts, Cooper, Herring, and it looked to me one of the 4 strokes. Stacey Harmon, I think. Up the hill they came for the first time, and it was the local lad, Eastwood, with the world champion right on his tail. Herring was in there as well, the 4-stroke dropping down. 33 here, this is Jeff Perrott on the Paul motorcycle Honda with troubles with his goggles. Well, he got them back on eventually and got back underway as Paul Cooper, with a bad start, the defending champion, started to push his way through the pack. Eastwood with Stefan Everts, the Belgium champion and the world champion, right on his tail. It was going to be a race this season between these riders, and there was Ed Bradley, number 27 in 3rd. Great ride for the former AMC star. Justin Morris to his friends, in 4th. They came up the hill here, and this was Dennis Hewitson on the Team Green Kawasaki, number 25, literally barging his way through. Oh, a bit of a bobble there. Very nearly off for Eastwood, now down in 2nd because Stefan Everts has taken the lead. Mervyn Anstey on the big Gavin Linscott 500 Bike Sport Honda with Justin Morris on the inside, but it was Everts that led them away on this sandy soil. But Herring it was, his teammate, now up into 2nd and chasing hard. Everts showing the form and the style of a defending world champion. Could he retain the crown for 1996? Riding for Colin Reed's RWJ with his teammate Robbie Herring on the 250 Honda right behind him. It was going to be a battle between these two. Race 1 then. Eastwood on the number 3 Wiseco Piston Honda, back in 3rd. Fighting for that position in the sandy conditions here at Canada Heights, but Paul Cooper wasn't that far behind on the number 1 SoCal Kawasaki for 96. Crowd look on and enjoying the battles between these riders, and Bob McMillan there, head of Honda, looking for his son Steve. Lee King on the 47 KTM 4-stroke, about to fall a lap down to the race leader, Stefan Everts. Number 5, Robbie Herring, up into 2nd behind Perrott, who stopped to clean his goggles out. And that's Warren Edwards, number 43. He's had it coming together with, it looks like, number 57. And that would be Gary Jones. Eastwood it is, on his home track here in front of his home crowd. Cooper comes around to complete another lap. Not a good start to his season. John Ongley right behind him, 69. There goes Mervyn Anstey. But to take the checkered flag on race 1 of the season, it's the 250 world champion, Stefan Everts. His teammate on the 2nd of the RWJ Hondas, Robbie Herring, number 5. And behind Robbie Herring, in 4th, this was Justin Morris on the Fowler's Honda. And Paul Cooper comes around to finish 5th. Mark Eastwood finished 3rd. Well, the crowd mingled around waiting for the next race to come down to the line. The kids, as always, having their bit of fun on the day. Well, look out, gladiators, I'm on my way. Ricky Priest here, walking down to the line for the 2nd of those 125 races. Brian Jorgensen, the Dane, hoping to get a better start in this one. He finished 11th in race 1. Neil Prince, the Welshman. There is Paul Malin. Well, he gives us a wave, happy from his win in race 1. Can he do it in race 2? There's his main rival, the defending champion, the Swede, Joachim Karlsson. The gate dropped. They came up the hill for the 2nd time today. Who is it going to be that got the cord? It looks like a Kawasaki that's gone through in the lead, but they're looking back. I think we've got a full start, but nevertheless, we've got a couple of riders who'll probably be glad if this gets started again. Well, indeed, a gate problem resulted in the riders being brought back to the gate, and this time Ricky Priest made no bones about it. He went to the front off the 2nd start. John Barford behind him, got 66 here, and it looks like 80 that have come to grief. 60 is Paul Cowshaw. But Priest it was on the Craigley Heath Team Green Kawasaki that led them away in race 2. The battle was on for 2nd. There was Barford, Malin beside him. Ryan Vose was amongst that group. There goes Carlson. Nathan Shelton, 14, just gone through. But Priest it was that began to build a considerable lead. The Kawasaki performing beautifully. Malin up to second and chasing. Neil Prince behind James Payton from Oxford. Carlson going through. The G-Shock boys going through. The racing was, without a doubt, very intense at the front. Priest it was that had the lead, but Malin was beginning to edge into it. The Cadbury's Bruce Yamaha performing well. There is Neil Prince on the number 6. Cat Finnin Honda as Jorgensen with a much better start in race 2. Going through just behind him. Carl Nunn, his teammate, with Carlson, the defending champion, right on his heels. But Malin it was that eventually found his way past Priest into the lead. So Malin, Priest, and then Prince on the number 6, Cat Finnin Honda, taking third. The crowd urging Malin on. He doesn't need the encouragement. Carlson wrestling with the RWJ 125 Honda through the ruts. Malin confidently in the lead. Goes into the last lap. The yellow and black out. Ricky Priest wrestling for second, but he's lost the position because Neil Prince on the number 6, Cat Finnin Honda, has taken second. So Priesty down to third. Number 10, Carl Nunn, he comes through. He's about fourth at the moment. And he's got the Dane Jorgensen behind him. And then it's Carlson, number 2, who's behind the Dane. So the crowd look on as we wait for them to come round to take the checkered flag. And it's going to be Malin. Yes, indeed. The Derbyshire youngster. 60 points in the first 2 races on the first round here. Neil Prince comes home in second spot. We look back for third. It should be Ricky Priest, and indeed it is. And behind Priest, the second of the Cat Finnin boys, the youngster Carl Nunn on the number 10 bike. Well, the rest of the gang come screaming through, and number 2, Carlson eventually finished 7th with Jorgensen in front of him, finishing 6th. Well, the open class came down onto the line for their second race of the day. Off they go, up the hill, and somebody's gone down. Mid-pack, somebody has gone down there. Can't see who it is, but they get through the corner pretty safely. And the rider was number 35, and that's Steve McMillan on the Honda UK machine. Son of Bob McMillan. Well, he won't be pleased with that. Everts it is that leads. Winner of race 1. Who is it that's behind him? And guess what? It's his teammate, Robbie Herring. And then Mark Eastwood back in third. So it's Hondas 1, 2 and 3. Where was Cooper? Well, there's Hewitson. Dennis Hewitson riding for Team Kawasaki for 96. He was back there in fourth. Then it was the first of the Cat Finnin 500s, in fact the only Cat Finnin 500 in the hands of Daniel Smith, number 21. But the battles were certainly on further down the field. Number 15, David Campbell. He's got Justin Morris right behind him. Number 17, Kelly Swanson. Number 11, that's Brian Wheeler on the KTM. 27, Ed Bradley, not such a good start for him this time. 33, that's Jeff Perrott. Well, he won't stop to do his goggles this time. And Robbie Herring, still in second spot. Eastwood, can he improve on his first race results? A big jump. And we've got to change because Everts has been off the bike. He's back in third now. So Herring it is that leads. Eastwood is up to second, and there is Everts going after that position. Well, an uncharacteristic mistake by the world champion here at Canada Heights. Eastwood goes through. Now, where is Everts? Into the last lap. There's Dennis Hewitson. He's third, so Everts is actually fourth. Hey, well, he looks a little detuned over that. I'm not surprised. Well, the checkered flag went out for Robbie Herring. He won the second heat. Justin Morris came home in 6th place. It was Hewitson was second, Eastwood was third, Everts fourth.
Yeah, it's up the back there. It's a real rutty section up the back. There's a couple of people.
Well, there's the winning bike, number 5, and Carlson. They get the bikes cleaned and prepared for the last race of the day, which is the super class, where the top 20 125s go up against the top 20 open class riders. Steve Dixon, Mr. Spoons, getting Malin bike ready for that last race. Fuel goes into Ricky Priest's bike, the number 4 Craigley Heath Kawasaki rider. Neil Prince in deep discussion. There's his mechanic Nick working on that number 6 Cat Finning Honda. Dave Thorpe talking to Colin Diamond. Thorpe, the team manager. There's Herring talking to the others about the positions as MALIN, winner of the 2 125 races, leads them down onto the line. Robbie Herring, winner of race 2, second in race 1. Number 6 there, Cat Finning Thorpe Honda. Neil Prince, the Welshman, the former 125 British Championship. Ricky Priest drops in alongside him on the number 4 Craigley Heath Team Green Kawasaki. Picking the spot, exactly the spot that he chose before he went down onto the line. As the sun starts to go down here at Canada Heights, the last race is on the line. Who is it going to be that gets the whole shot up the hill? And it looks like Cooper on the inside. As the 125 boys, 82 there, Darrell Atkins racing for Sky Moss. That's Paul Teasdale on the 58 bike. But it's Everts from Herring. As the rest of the gang come through, 3 Eastwood, 7 Morris. It's Herring that leads then. Robbie Herring has got the world champion Everts behind him. And Everts should like the conditions here at Canada Heights. It's quite sandy. Eastwood goes through and we're looking back. There is Morris. That should be Cooper that's in front. There's Hewitson. There's Neil Prince. Ryan Vose behind him. And Neil Prince, no stranger to this circuit. Down the sandy hills comes Robbie Herring, RWJ Honda, with his teammates Stefan Everts right behind him. The question now is how long can Herring hang on to that position? Paul MALIN, first 125 in the race at the moment, and he's 3rd in the race. That's Justin Morris and Mark Eastwood behind him. Then Paul Cooper, as we look back for the rest. Daniel Smith and number 10, Carl Nunn with number 2, Joachim Carlson with Dennis Hewison, number 25, in pursuit, and Jorgensen, 42, with his teammate Craig Prattley on that Casio G-Shock Suzuki. And this is Tony Marshall on the Tim Britton Yamaha. He's got a gearbox problem. Well, that's hard luck for the youngster. Well, all eyes were certainly focused on this battle with Everts closing on Herring. Justin Morris comes around to complete another lap. He's got now 4th in the race. And first 125, Paul MALIN right behind him. Then it's Cooper on the SoCal number 1 Kawasaki. The 125's at a disadvantage here at Canada Heights. There's Daniel Smith. He has got Ricky Priest on the other 125, tucked right up behind him. So 500 versus 125. Who, the question is now, will come out on top in that scrap? Gary Davis from Shrewsbury, a former AMCA champion, on the number 20 Suzuki. Herring, where is Everts? And the answer is there, right behind him. James Payton sandwiched between those two on the 26 Kawasaki. But Everts it is that closes on his teammate. Are we going to see 2 wins for Everts? Or is Herring going to make it a double? Up over the sandy hills to go. There's Payton. Here is Cooper, the defending champion. Not a good start to the championship here at Canada Heights. Going to have to work hard to claw back those points on the 2 RWJ men's on the Hondas. But he's working at it. Paul Cooper, injury in the closed season, machines not fully prepared, having to work very hard as Carlson comes around. Number 2, the defending British 125 champion, riding for RWJ this year, hasn't had a good start to the season, but Everts finally finds a way past Robbie Herring. Herring dropping down to 2nd, tiniest beginning to show obviously, but it's Everts, the World 250 champion, that now leads the last race of the day. His teammate Herring chasing in second place. Number 10, this is Carl Nunn. He's 7th at the moment. 42, Jorgensen, and MALIN has been off the bike and he's having to fight his way back through the field again. Well, poor MALIN really at times does make the job hard for himself. Well, as they come around to take the yellow and black, it's the last lap flag then for Robbie Herring. Second, really no chance, I think, of catching his teammate STEFAN Everts, who leads this race. Paul MALIN finally, after all his trials and tribulations, managed to get himself back up there again behind EASTWOOD. So MALIN, the top 125 rider. Here comes STEFAN Everts. He takes the checkered flag for the second time today. A great ride from the Belgium. Waves to the crowd, acknowledges the applause. We look back for his teammate Robbie Herring. He takes the applause, and so he should. Number 5 on the RWJ Honda. Well, Paul MALIN eventually managed to get himself back up there again. He finished 6th, first overall 125, and we asked Paul, has it been a good day?
Yeah, I'm very happy. First race, I just wanted to get a good start because the track was really tricky and very wet and muddy. And I thought the best place would be at the front, and it wasn't too long before I was there and pulled out a good lead and just settled down and just rode my own race. And then the second race I had a bad start and went down, and then it was false started, so I was pleased about that because then it was like a second chance, and I won that one quite comfortably as well. But then the last one, I was surprised at my start. I was like 4th into the corner, and I was just basically riding to hold off the 250s and the 500s, mainly the 250s. And then Cooper got up behind me, and I went down in a heap in one of the corners and couldn't get the bike started. And by that time, Jockey and Jorgensen, they'd all gone by me, Nunny, and they'd made quite a big gap on me. So I thought, well, just get my arse into gear and just ride hard and use your head, and that's what I did. And fortunately for me, Jockey didn't finish, but at the end of the day, that's racing. He's not had a very good day, and every point is vital.
For Rob Herring, 1 win and 2 second places, and the overall result, he now leads the championship with 84 points.
I'm quite pleased with the day. I rode hard all day, and I didn't get that good a start in the first 2 races. With the last one, I was away, but overall, I rode fast and hard, so I'm pleased.
In that last one, your teammate Stefan, he got away from you. You looked to be just cruising.
Nah, I was riding really hard in that one. I was trying not to let Stefan catch me, and we were staying about the same pace. And then within like 1 lap, he was behind me, and then I hit a wall. When he got behind me, I got tired, and we went past, and I just thought, okay, second place is good.
Round 2 of the championship moved up north to Finningley in Doncaster, and very much another sandy track. And if you point a camera at people, they always like to wave to their mum. Hi, Mum. Thank you. Well, the trade here, Pete Edmondson doing a roarer, as always, selling off his little goodies. And there it is, sir, you can have that just for a tenner. That one will do nicely, and there's your tenner. Thanks very much. He walks away a very happy customer.
Carl, a big input from your company for the 1996 season.
Yes, last year we had the other last team with David, with the Honda team, and this year we took it a little bit different. And I just felt that I wanted to go a little bit independent, if you like. We had some good support from Suzuki, and a lot with the other sponsors, with Dunlop and Talon. DEP, and obviously the major support from Shell. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased.
It's a major input from your company. Now, your company, I understand, erect aerials.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, what SkyMounts all about, we actually manufacture and supply professional radio communication antenna systems, like for councils and fire brigades, ambulance services, MOD, and that's what we're from. I mean, we've got nothing to do with the sport at all. It's just mainly that obviously it's my hobby, and it's a very good corporate avenue for my company, really, which it works out very, very well.
You've taken on board a couple of young riders this year, Stephen Sword being one of those. Is there a reason for taking on such young lads?
Yeah, I want to, I was looking for young riders to bring them through. There's Ryan's a good rider and Stephen's a very good rider. I wanted to bring the young ones through into the adult class and to give them a good avenue for it. And, with two good riders like that, I wanted to bring them through a professional avenue into the adult, adult ranks, really.
Well, from Carl Jones, we moved on to RWJ and Stefan Everts and Robbie Herring. We spoke to Colin Reid.
Colin, RWJ's involvement again this year, a big thing for you.
Yes, it's been quite interesting what's happened over the last year, really. It began to take place the middle of last season, 95 season. There was rumours going around that HRC were looking for somebody to run another team, taking it away from Belgium for their own particular reasons. And we was given the consideration of this. I didn't know what was going on, but kept very quiet about it for a long time. And it all came to fruition sort of after the Japanese GP and following a meeting in Belgium, and here we are with the HRC connection.
You've selected what a lot of people would consider to be three of the world's leading riders. Joachim Carlsen, 125, you've got World 250 champion Stefan Everts, and you've got, of course, our very own Robbie Herring.
Yes, well, one of the stipulations with HRC is they wanted somebody, a non-British rider in the team, because they wanted it to remain an international side to things. So obviously Stefan was available. He was the priority as far as I was concerned. HRC didn't complain, and there we are. And as far as Rob and Yoki go, well, they both proved themselves over the years. Honda UK have got a very big involvement with us. We are grateful for all their assistance, and they obviously want to get the results. So I think overall we're doing the best for HRC, and we think we're doing the best for Honda UK. I'm very grateful for the assistance from everybody.
Well, it's a long season with Carlsen representing RWJ in the 125 ranks. The defending British 125 champion, Ricky Priest, rubs his hands together. Now, this is the traditional motocross dancing section. Who can recognise the feet of these men? Well, there's no prizes for guessing the right answer. Paul Malin leads them down onto the line with Neil Prince on the Cat Finnins Thorpe Honda with his teammate Carl Nunn drops in right beside him. Priest, Craig Heath, Team Kawasaki, Carlsen, RWJ Honda. Gate about to drop. First race, round 2 of the Morris Lubricant British Motocross Championship gets underway as they scream through. And they're all safely through. It's Craig Bradley that leads. Priesty was back there in 3rd. There is Malin going through in 5th. 86. This is Joel Mitson from Basingstoke. Stuck in the ropes. Ron Green there, the clerk of the course, in to give him a hand. And a problem here for Carl Nunn. Going back to the paddock with his mechanic Keith Thorpe. He's got a problem which is obviously not repairable. Pratley, Prince and Priest, the 3 Ps leading this race. We're looking back for Malin, and there he is, 4th. Ryan Vose behind him on the Sky Master Suzuki. We've got a problem here. John Barford, number 8, has gone down. And that was 94. That would have been Matthew Nelms. Well, there you go, 68. Joby Holford also stuck in the ropes. Carlsen been off the bike as well. Well, it really is a fraught start to this race as Lee Williams went through on the Sanderwood Honda. But the battle is on at the front. Priest now up with Craig Pratley on the G-Shock Casio Suzuki. Neil Prince right in his tracks. Now into 3rd from 2nd. 82 going through. That's Darrell Atkins, the New Zealander, riding for Skymast. And here they come. The battle is on at the front. It is Pratley, Priest and Prince. Sounds like a firm of solicitors. Malin still back in 4th. Not a good start for him. He's going to have to work for this. But the battle was still on at the front. And they've begun to close up. Ryan Vos, 32, going through on the other Sky Master Suzuki. But it's still Prattley on G-Shock Suzuki that leads. Priest on the Craig Heath Quacker, second. Prince under pressure now from the Cadbury's boost man, Paul Malin. Deep, sandy circuit here at Finley in Doncaster. Going to have to work hard. Well, there's Brian Jorgensen, number 42, the second of the G-Shock boys. Teammate to the current race leader, Craig Prattley, and there he is. Good start for Rob Hooper's team here today. I'm not quite sure what he means by that particular signal, but I'm sure it is the warning telling him to hurry up. And yes, indeed, Malin's gone to third. Where is Prince? And Malin's gone to second. Well, you can't keep a good man down, and Paul Malin certainly is one of the best. Neil Prince going through. Down a couple of places. There is Carlson. He's having to work hard again here at Finley. Round one didn't go too well for him. That's 14 in front of him. That's Nathan Shelton on the Yamaha. Goggles over the handlebars. Carlson, I think, just about to pass him. And there is the race leader, number 12. And he has got Paul Malin climbing all over that G-Shock Casio Suzuki. Here they come. Corner to corner, it's head down, full throttle. Number 4, Ricky Priest going through. Then Neil Prince is up to 4th. Well, here's the checkered flag. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Craig Prattley. Yay! Prattley on the G-Shock Suzuki takes the win. Cadbury's Boostman Malin in second. Then it was Ricky Priest, Neil Prince, and 42. Brian Jorgensen finished 5th. Number 16, Tony Marshall, he finished 7th. And number 2, Joachim Collison, he came home in 10th position. Well, with the 1-2-5 race run, here we are with the open class boys, the Morris Lubricants 1996 British Motocross Championship. Robbie Herring leads the championship, coming here to round 2 with just the 84 points. But what can Stefan Everts do about his teammates' lead? Everts drops in beside Herring. Mark Eastwood on the Wiseco Piston Honda drops in beside the reigning world champion. Justin Morris on the number 7 Fowler's Honda drops in beside those two. Then it's Hewitson, first of the 2 Kawasaki's. Then it is the SoCal man, the defending champion number 1, and that's of course Paul Cooper. 21, 500cc Cat Finning Honda of Daniel Smith. 43, that's Warren Edwards. Riding a Wiseco Pistons Honda as the gate was about to drop. Into that right-hander they go. And we've got a pile-up. Somebody went down mid-pack of that lot. And we're trying to see, well, there is Daniel Smith. He got caught up in that. As did number 75, Jason Lewis, and Jeff Perrett also amongst that group. But it is the world champion leading, as we expected. And Cooper had another poor start. He's going to have to work very, very hard. He's up behind Steve McMillan, number 35 on the UK Honda. But there is Stefan Everts on what one would describe as very familiar terrain for him. Sand. It's Robbie Herring in second place, his teammate. Then it is Eastwood third. And there comes Justin Morris. He's going after Herring. So where is Eastwood? Number 17, Kelly Swanson. Number 33, Jeff Perrett. And here is the world champion, Everts. Former 125 and 250 world champion. There is Eastwood. Everts jumps and leaps the big jumps here at Finley. We're looking back for second spot. Well, there is Eastwood. He is riding his little ears off at the moment. Currently third, and he is chasing Justin Morris. So it's 4th for Eastwood, 3rd for Morris, and Eastwood trying to take that 3rd. Here comes Herring. styles it over the jump for the crowd. Robbie Herring chasing this man, his teammate Stefan Everts, who is very much at home on this kind of circuit. Eastwood has found a way past Justin Morris, has now gone to third. Here is Morris back into fourth for the number 7, Fowler's Honda rider. And the battle is certainly on. Dennis Hewitson, number 25. He's having to charge really hard at the moment. Not a good start for the South African. But there is his fellow countryman, Paul Cooper, right behind him. Jeff Perrott sandwiched between these two Kawasaki's. Number 9, Bike Sport, Mervyn Anstey. Mr. Swerve, whole shots just about every race you come to, but not this one. The battle is on between the two Kawasaki's and the two South African. Hewitson it is that leads Cooper. Team Kawasaki against SoCal Kawasaki as Everts takes to the air once again. Herring chases in second place. Looking back for third, and it's Eastwood number 3. Looking back for fourth. It should be number 7, Justin Boris Morris. And indeed, no, it's not, it's Cooper. Cooper's found a way past Hewitson and a way past Morris. The crowd watching this one. And there's Everts. He's going to take the checkered flag and the 30 points. We look back for second place. It should be, and it is, number 5, Robbie Herring. Then it should be Mark Eastwood. And there he is, riding that Wiseco Pistons Honda. He looks over his shoulder, and number 7, Justin Morris, has held on for fourth. Fourth back, taken fourth. Cooper, number 1, finishes 5th. And in 6th position, the number 17 bike of Kelly Swanson, Hewitson, eventually finished 8th. Well, the crowd now looking down towards the start line because it'll be the 125 boys that come out next, and there they are. Well, that's Carl Nunn practicing his nightclub routine. Paul Malin walks past and congratulates him on his routine, I think, and Malin limbers up with his own form of dancing. There is Neil Prince, the number 6 Cat Finning Honda. Carlson, wondering what he needs to do to win a race. With his girlfriend? Well, Malin it is that leads them down onto the line for the second race of the 125 class for today. Wants to win this one. It was the number 12 Casio G-Shock Suzuki of Craig Bradley that beat him in race 1. Wants to make amends in race 2. Malin not used to finishing anywhere else but at the front. Cracking start around the corner. Everybody looks to be safely around at the moment, except one. And number 20, Gary Davis. Well, he's been off. Well, we were a little bit preempted there by saying everybody's safely around, but it is Jorgensen that leads from Malin, from Bradley, and then Prince. There's Bose. But Brian Jorgensen on the G-Shock Suzuki, he's gone to the front. Paul Malin on the Cadbury's Booth Yamaha having to chase once again. A Suzuki in second place. Then it was Princey, and then Bradley, the second of the G-Shock boys. There's Cole Nunn, number 10, having to play catch-up once again. But it didn't take long for Malin to get to the front. And Jorgensen having to settle for third because his teammate Craig Bradley going in front of him. Ryan Vose going through. As the rest of them scrap for the final placings, but it's Paul Malin that leads. And up into second goes the number 6 bike, the Welshman Neil Prince. The two Casio G-Shock boys, Jorgensen and Bradley, third and fourth. Ryan Vose, 32, on the Sky Mast Suzuki going through. And there is 58. That was Paul Teasdale, currently contesting the Holt JCB Under-21 Championship and currently leading it. The battle was certainly on at the front. The pace was furious. And Carlson having to catch the front runners once again. That's Finlay just in front of him on the 56 Kawasaki, the Irishman. On a good run, Stefan Everts watches and enjoys the action of the 125s. And particularly watching that man. It's Malin leading, but we got a battle on for second once again. Prince it is, and it is Craig Pratley, the Oxfordshire rider, hot on his heels. Jorgensen still back there in fourth, but look at this for a battle, and Pratley takes him, but Prince fights back on the inside. They go over the jump together. Jorgensen sits back and watches the action. Who was it going to be that emerged in the lead? And the answer to that was, it was Pratley, because even Jorgensen found a way past Prince. Prince down into fourth, but it's Malin that leads. Full off the side of the bike. As he starts to pick his way through the back markers, but first in race one, Craig Pratley goes through now in third, because Jorgensen goes to second. Prince is back there behind him, and there's Carl Nunn, Prince's teammate. The action is furious here over the jumps. Just look at this, the two G-Shock boys going at it corner to corner. At the moment, it's Jorgensen with Pratley. Carlson can do nothing about the guys at the front. They are on a pace. Malin, he's been off the bike again. He's down with Neil Prince. Paul Malin on that Cadbury's Bush Yamaha. He's dropped it again. He's behind the two G-Shock Casio boys. So Malin's going to have to do it all again, and there's no reason to believe that he won't. He finished behind Craig Pratley in race one. Is he going to do it again? Neil Prince, captain in Honda Boy, right behind him. There is Jorgensen with his teammate, and here comes Malin. Up to third, he's going for second. No, no, no. Craig Pratley slams the door and says, I prefer you to be behind me at the checkered flag, but behind him I don't think it's going to stay, because Malin has gone back into the lead. Electric stuff here. Jorgensen second, Pratley is third. Well, Finn and Lee has seen nothing like this before. Well, goggles over the handlebars. That's Carl Nunn coming through. And that was his teammate. Well, I think Carl Nunn may well be a lap down, but it is Malin that takes the checkered flag. Well, what can you say about that? Malin then from Jorgensen, Pratley, and no, Carl Nunn actually finished fourth, because it was Neil Prince that was fifth, and Jorgensen finished sixth. Well, the 250 boys, the open class lads, back on the line. Brian Wheeler there having a little chat, and here we go. It's dancing time. Well, I've got the shirt, now I can do what you can do. But it just goes to show how imitation is the greatest form of compliment. Carlson there explaining to his teammate Robbie Herring about the circuit, where the good and not so good bits are. It's Robbie Herring then that leads them down onto the line for the second of the open class races here for the Morris Lubricants 1996 Motocross Championship. Justin Morris. Hewitson settles beside him, then Cooper, and there's Brian Wheeler on the number 11 KTM. The only KTM in this British Championship, as far as a two-stroke is concerned. Up the inside they come, and it looks like Everts that gets the whole shot. Indeed it is. Stefan Everts once again. Very much at home on the sandy soil here. It is Morris that's second, and the battle is on behind. It's Eastwood, then Cooper, and Herring. Yes, Herring behind Cooper. Oh, Cooper makes a mistake there. Herring capitalises and goes through. But the leader, the world champion Everts, we're looking back for second place. And it is still Justin Morris. Then Mark Eastwood on the Wiseco Pistons Honda. Cooper got back past Herring. Then Kelly Swanson, number 17, riding Honda. Eastwood. And Cooper dropping back a little bit. Eastwood there in front of him, but the battle is certainly on. There is Herring. Well, he's having a bit of a wretched time in this race. Kelly Swanson and Dennis Hewitson, they're right behind him. The crowd looking on. It's superb action here at Finlay as Everts finds time to style it for the supporters and the fans. Looking back for second, and indeed there he is, the number 7 bike of Justin Morris the Morris. Fowler's Honda for this year. Then it is Eastwood. He's in third. We're looking back behind Eastwood for fourth place man, and it is indeed Paul Cooper. Really having to work hard for this is Cooper. Well, Herring, not such a good race for Robbie Herring. He looks to have a problem of some kind, whether that's machine or not. Kelly Swanson, Dennis Hewitson and Warren Edwards on the 43. Wiseco Piston Honda going through. Jeff Perrett there with number 31. That's Andy Gilbert. And it's nice to see Andy back and racing. Perrett not stopping this time to take his goggles off, that's for sure. Learned that lesson at round 1. Well, we're not keeping him awake, I think. Racing certainly wasn't boring, that's for sure. It was dramatic stuff. Eastwood going through, still there in third. Looking back behind him, whoa, a big hoist. He hung on to that well, so he should. Warren Edwards, our British Supercross specialist, but he's got the South African Hewitson behind him. But here comes the world champion, 250. RWJ with Fowler's man, Morris chasing Everts. There's Cooper. SoCal Kawasaki. Well, the RWJ team looking on as Eastwood comes through. And I think they're looking for Robbie Herring. And there he is. And there is a problem of some kind. He shakes his head, puts his hand up to his mechanic. I don't know what the problem is. The bike has stopped. Well, he's going to head back to the paddock for an early finish to this race. There goes the mechanic. Sort the problem out before the last race of the day. And Cooper has gone up to third. Morris down a place to fourth. The arms must be tiring just a little bit on the youngster. Hewitson gone through, and there's Eastwood. Well, Eastwood dropping down a few places. I don't know what's happened to him. This is interesting. There's Dennis Hewitson on the 25, Team Green Kawasaki. He's about 6 at the moment. But it is going to be a win for Stefan Everts. Second place should belong now to Paul Cooper, and it does. And Justin Morris on the number 7 bike, he finishes third. Mark Eastwood comes home to finish fourth. Warren Edwards came through to finish 5th, and Dennis Hewitson, the South African, he took the 6th place. Well, the riders coming down onto the line then for the last race of the day. But before that, we had the support class. And the problems that they caused for us were, well, something to be reckoned with, because they went off the start and they broke the start gate. Well, deep discussions here between Ron Green, Dennis Slaughter and Dave Smith, and Dave Thorpe in the background trying to decide on what to do. Well, Ricky Priest explaining what happened to him in race 2. He crashed and damaged his shoulder. Well, there's another one that's getting in on the act. I think you're just a little bit young to race here today, my man. Well, I think he's getting Stefan Everts' blocks ready for him. There's Paul Malin. Well, it's a big debate. Steve Dixon there is mechanic with him as to how they're going to start the last race of the day. This went on for some time. It actually started to go quite dark, and we were getting worried that the race would be eventually called off. But no, a decision was made as Everts and Malin led them onto the line for the Superclass. That's the top 20 from the 125s and the top 20 from the Open class. And this was how they were going to start. Machines running, hand on the back mud guard. Well, have you ever seen anything like this before at a British Championship? Well, obviously not. I haven't. And eventually they got off the line, but it wasn't for long, because out went the red flag. Somebody had obviously been caught cheating, and he was disqualified. Tony Marshall wasn't the culprit. He came back to the start to have another go. 48 there, that's A.D. Smith. Up goes the green flag, hands off the back mudguards, onto the clutches, in gear, throttle open, and away they went. Nathan Shelton, number 14, not a good start for him, but it was Everts that got his hand forward onto the clutch first. Robbie Herring, his teammate, he was second quickest. So 1 and 2 in the race. Looking back behind those two, and there were some dynamic battles going on. 31 going through. Andy Gilbert once again. A better start for him in this race. 26, James Payton on the team green 125 Kawasaki. A mixture of 125s, 250s and 500s in this Superclass race. Somebody hit the deck and it's David Campbell, number 15. Brian Bowes, 32, goes through. Not a good start for him, but Campbell, a disastrous race. He gets away. Gets the sand out of his goggles. There is Robbie Herring. And the question now is, where was Stefan EVERTS? There is Paul Cooper. There is Paul Malin, first of the 125s, as rather expected. There is Stefan EVERTS. Well, EVERTS, it is that leads, but by such a long way from his teammate Robbie Herring. He was almost in a race of his own. There's his teammate Herring trying to play catch up, but when you're up against a reigning 250 world champion, well, you need just a little bit more. Warren Edwards on the case with Paul Malin at the moment. The battles were fierce and ferocious down the field. Mark Eastwood going through number 3. It really was getting quite dark here now. There's one of the G-Shock Casio boys going through the big jump. The crowd watching anxiously to see who it was going to be that took the win. They score points, 30 right down. 42, Brian Jorgensen. 30 for a win, 27 for second, 25 for third, and so on and so on. There's Robbie Herring. Well, the machine obviously fully repaired from that disaster in race 2. Paul Cooper having to play once again catch up to the RWJ Hondas. There's Malin. One would think a little outclassed by the 250s of the 500, but it doesn't seem to stop Malin. Jorgensen, 42, first of the 2 G-Shock Casio boys. There's the 500 of Merv the Swerve Anstey. Cooper on the SoCal Trevor Avery Kawasaki. He also having to play a little bit of catch-up. Mark Eastwood going through. Eastwood currently 4th. Carl Nunn having a better time out in this race. There's his teammate Neil Prince, the Welshman. 125 champion year before last. Carlson, of course, taking the honours last year. And there he is, Jochen Carlson, the Swede, wanting to defend and retain his championship. And well, there you go. Yours truly had to get his nose in somewhere. Keith Thorpe urging on his man. Come on, he says. Come on. Well, Carl Nunn, one of the youngest riders in the championship. It was a win then for Stefan EVERTS. Paul Malin chased him home in 2nd place on the 125. Robbie Herring finished 3rd, and behind Robbie Herring in 4th, it was the number 1 Paul Cooper. Then Mark Eastwood. We dived into the pits and spoke to Brian Jorgensen. How were things going, we asked.
Yeah, last week was not so good in Canada High, but this week started not so good. I was last in the first race in the start and go up to 5 positions. So it was pretty good first heat, and second heat we have a good battle with Craig and me and Malin. So I finished 2nd. So it was a good day.
Good day for Denmark, but Craig Prattley here, better than last week at Canada Heights.
Yeah, I'm very pleased, especially after last week. Like you say, things just didn't go my way last week, so I was behind in the championship coming into today. And I wanted to put that right. And I started off the first race today. I got the whole shot and led that from start to finish. I was really pleased with that. And then second one, I had a really good race with Paul Malin and my teammate Brian Jorgensen. And we were like swapping places the whole race until the last lap. Then I came off and had to settle for 3rd then.
Stefan, 3 wins out of 3 today. You couldn't hope for any better.
No, last week I was close, 2 wins and 1 time 4, I was very close. I did just a few mistakes in the second motor, but today, I did 3 times in a row, and I'm very happy about it. It's been a very good practice day, and looking forward for next weekend.
Round 3 of the championship came to Waits Cone. Paul Malin there, sizing up the start as the crowd come through, and Ryan Vose there with Lee Williams and young James Payton walking down towards the paddock. Well, we're certainly in for some exciting racing here today. It is a track that's littered with many, many jumps, and I'm sure we're going to really enjoy ourselves. But before we got into racing, we spoke to Robbie Herring.
Robbie, third in the championship at the moment, and your main rival, your teammate, Stefan Everts, not racing with us here today.
That's right. I'm not exactly sure the whole story about Stefan, but apparently he's not been well for the last couple of weeks, so it's going to leave the championship wide open again. If we can manage to grab some good points back on him this weekend, it's going to be quite a mission for him to catch up. But, you know, being the world champion, I'm sure he's going to be pretty determined. But we're going to make the most of it this weekend.
When Robbie says we, he means the other two culprits there, the SoCal Kawasaki of Paul Cooper and Justin Morris, hoping to claw points back on Everts with his absence. Well, they're waiting now for the 125 boys to come down onto the line for their first race. And there they are, Carl Nunn, number 10, with Craig Prattley on the G-Shock Suzuki. Follows him down with Ricky Priest, preparing his starting blocks. Back after injury at the previous round in Doncaster. Joachim Carlson. 48, A.D. Smith alongside Carl Nunn as the gate drops for race 1, round 3. And Malin gets a blinder up the inside, but is that Ryan Vose? I think it was Ryan Vose around the outside. They screamed down under the tree. And it was Paul Malin from, I think, Ryan Vose in second place. And when we said spectacular racing, this is what we meant. Neil Prince, number 6, goes ballistic as the rest of the crew comes screaming through. 58, Paul Teasdale, they're currently leading the whole JCB Under-21 Championship, as well as racing here at the British 125s. Skyborn, some of these guys are going, applying for pilot's licences before the race here. Craig Bradley has got Carl Nunn tucked right up behind him. This really is a jump-littered circuit. Malin, it's Jorgensen, not Bradley, Jorgensen in front of Carl Nunn. Well, the two G-Shock Casio riders really putting on some style. There's the first 3. There is Carlson with Prince behind him, and there is Ryan Vose. Vosey it is, number 32, Skymaster Suzuki. You can see the height to get over these jumps, incredible. Here comes Malin, he's at the front. Jorgensen behind him second, then it's Nunn, and now it's number 2, Joachim Carlson. Well, the Finn beginning to make up for the poorer results from the last 2 rounds. Ricky Priest, obviously not quite got over that shoulder injury, down a few places, but it's Malin that leads them. Jorgensen, now Carlson has gone up to 3rd. Nunn down to 4th as they slither and slide their way around the corners. They go over the big tabletops and jumps, and there's 26. That's James Payton with Teasdale. These two going head-to-head in the whole JCB Championship as well, and head-to-head here today. Malin it is. Jorgensen, Carlson, top 3 going through. Spectacular stuff. Nunny still there in 4th, and behind him is teammate 5th, Neil Prince. Then in 6th, it's Ryan Vose. Look at the height they get over these jumps. Incredible stuff. And Carl Nunn climbing all over the back wheel of the Swede. Ricky Priest back behind that group, battling for positions and points. Then Tony Marshall, number 16. This is Danny Tollett, number 24. And Matthew Nelms, number 94. Teasdale, number 58. And Teasdale should have number 34. Yes, indeed, right behind him. That's Danny Smith as the leaders come through. It's still 1, 2 and 3 as before. And 4th, Carl Nunn. 5th then for Neil Prince's teammate. Big style from Malin. Up into 2nd goes Carlson. Where's Jorgensen gone? Carlson now on the case of the Cadbury's Boost Yamaha. The crowd are loving this. This is exciting stuff. Look at that. Well, if you haven't cleaned the underneath of your bike, we'll spot it with our cameras. So the first 2, it's Malin. Then it's Carlson and none. And there is Craig Bradley, but we still cannot see Jorgensen. At the checkered flag, it was MALIN that took the win. Carlson came home second, and there is Jorgensen. He finished third. As number 10, Carl Nunn, takes fourth, and his teammate number 6, Neil Prince, finishing fifth. Craig Bradley came home and finished sixth, number 12. Robbie Herring here on the line for the start of race 1 for the Opens. Are we going to see some skyborne stuff from these guys? Justin Morris in total concentration. Well, with Paul Cooper fourth in the championship, we went down to the line and grabbed a quick word with him before the start.
Yeah, things are looking pretty good. I mean, I'm still in a strong position in the championship. After the first 2 rounds, we had a few problems, so I think things can only get better, and we can keep improving and hopefully get into the top slot again.
Well, Cooper, as we say, fourth after 2 rounds in the championship. This is the track that he should go well on. The spectators, well, point a camera at some people, and they always act the goat, don't they? Start gate, ready to drop. And Mervyn Anstey on that Bike Sport Honda, as always, whole shots the race. Merv the swerve, but Justin Morris in second place. The number 7, Fowler's Honda, screaming up in second spot. And everybody looks to have got safely through, and it's Morris that's got into the lead. Anstey second. Well, we really are being treated to some fine racing here. Eastwood just going through. And there's Robbie Herring. Well, he's had a terrible start to this race. But not for this young man. Justin Morris leads. Then Anstey. Then number 15, that's David Campbell. Behind Campbell, we're looking for some of our front runners. Where was Cooper? There is Eastwood. And he's got Hewitson behind him. Big airtime from Robbie Herring, having to work very hard to make up the positions. Off at the start. Not a good race for him at the moment. A big thundering four-stroke, I think that was, of Lee King behind him. Could well have been Stacey Harmon on the Husqvarna, but down the hill they come. There's Ed Bradley, and there is Cooper. Not a good start for Cooper either. Well, these two, with the absence of Stefan Everts, hoping to make up major points here today in the championship, and it's all going sadly wrong for, once again, Steve McMillan. And I knew I'd come in hand for something. Pulling rope out of the back of Steve McMillan's wheel. Well, it was going to happen. We could see that rope dangling on the track. It didn't take long for somebody to collect it, and it had to be Mac. Justin Morris goes airborne. Anstey still there behind him. The Gavin Linscott Bike Sport Honda, and there is Cooper. Oh, he's having to work hard. Ed Bradley behind him. Very hard, Cooper. Well, with the absence of the world champion, these two guys, Herring in particular, hoping to pick up some major points, but not a good start to the day for them. Here comes Anstey. Campbell behind him on the number 15 bike, and that's Jason Higgs, number 19. Young Higgsy. Here comes Brian Steele, number 45. He's got Cooper there right behind him. There is Campbell again, number 15, the Scot. Getting to grips with the big jumps here. Eastwood going through again. Not a good start for Eastwood. Justin Morris it is then that leads. We're looking back behind him. There's Campbell. There is Anstey. And there is Warren Edwards, number 43. He's got Jason Higgs behind him and Dennis Hewitson behind Jason Higgs. So we've got a bit of a battle here. Cooper very much out on his own at the moment. He's going to have to work hard for this one. Robbie Herring goes through past number 73. That's Darren Brookin. No relation, I understand, to the ex-time famous footballer. Well, Steve McMillan finally got himself untangled and got away again, but a lap down. There is Warren Edwards, once again, right behind Campbell. Then Hewitson. Edwards, Britain's really only true Supercross rider. Does extremely well in the off-season over in the German Supercross Championships, but there is Edwards, and Hewitson is closing on him. Campbell has dropped back, so Edwards has gone up a position, so has Hewitson. Campbell down 2. Here comes Justin Morris. He has led literally from the drop of the flag. Can he lead to the checkered? There is Warren Edwards. He's up to 2nd. So a great ride for Rabbits. He's got Hewitson 25 behind him in 3rd, trailing that roll-off goggle film. I hope that doesn't get tangled anywhere, but there is Robbie Herring. He has got a problem of some kind. He's broken something on that bike. Maybe we'll get a chance to find out what it is after the race, but Herring very detuned in this one. We expected him to go extremely well here, but it's not going that well for him. Picking his way slowly through the field, trying to salvage some points. Now there's a face I know from round 1. That just goes to show that people travel from one round to another. Morris it is that goes through. Edwards in 2nd place on the 43 Wiseco Piston Honda. David Campbell going through. He's about 5th at the moment, but here is Justin Boris Morris taking the checkered flag for race 1 win and 30 points. Right behind him, 2nd, 43, Warren Edwards, 27 points. Then it was Dennis Hewitson, and Paul Cooper eventually got up to 4th place. What a terrific ride. Then it was David Campbell coming through, and then number 3 was Mark Eastwood, and behind Mark Eastwood, number 19, Jason Higgs.
At the start, it didn't come off, and then the first lap, because I couldn't stop in the corner, somebody came across me, I couldn't stop and I hit him. Went into the post and it broke off, and that was it. Not a joke.
You were going the same speed at the rest.
Pushed me straight into the cars on the outside.
Well, that was your answer. Clutch lever broken off for Robbie Herring. Very upset about the result from race 1, but you just got to put it behind you and get ready for race 2. The 125 boys back on the line. Paul Malin preparing to go down onto the start then for the 2nd race of the day. Can he repeat the result he got in race 1, which was of course a win? Here they go. 28 there, that's Neil Carnell on the inside. 58 Teasdale beside him. The gate drops, up they go into that left-hand corner. And someone's gone wayward. Very wayward. I think that was Neil Carnell in actual fact. No, it's number 96. Chris Kirk that crashed. Carnell was amongst that group, but it is Carlson then that leads. Carlson leads, Nunny's 2nd, then it's Malin. Ryan Bowes. Well, here they come. Craig Pratley going through. Tony Marshall. Lee Williams on the 38 bike. Oh, the pace here. There's Stephen Sword, 46. The 96 bike of Chris Kirk back up with the tail enders, but he's going well. Over the big jump. Absolutely skyborne. There is Malin. He's not leading this one. He's going to have to work hard for it. It is Carlson that has the lead at the moment. Joachim Carlson beginning to put the thing together for this championship. The defending British 125 Championship. Nunny is 2nd on that Cat Finning Honda. Down the hill for the Swede. Behind him, it's the young lad, Carl Nunn. Then it is the veteran, as speaking as far as this championship is concerned, Paul Malin. I think that was Jonathan Pettit, number 18, right behind him. There's Neil Prince chasing Ricky Priest. It really is beginning to open up. 48, A.D. Smith going through. There is 76. That's Jonathan White. And he had Stephen Sword behind him, and there is Stephen Sword. Another one of the real young riders in this championship, coming straight from the schoolboy ranks of last year. But this man, he's got the experience. Racing 250 World Championship, got British 125 Championship. Joachim Carlson, the battle is on behind him. Carl Nunn under pressure from Paul Malin. Then it's Brian Jorgensen on the 42 bike, his teammate Craig Patley on the number 12 G-Shock Casio Suzuki. And Malin has found a way past Nunny. He's up into 2nd. And it was Jonathan Pettit, number 18. Oh, Pettit having an inspired ride. There's Neil Prince. Craig Bradley from Finstock in Oxfordshire. Wants very much to win this championship this year for his sponsors, G-Shock Casio. But it is the number 2 RWJ Honda. He takes the checkered flag, Carlson. Malin comes home in second. Number 10 it was for third, Carl Nunn, 42. Jorgensen finished fourth, and Neil Prince, number 6, came in behind him. And Jonathan Pettit finally finished 16th. What a ride from the youngster as the Opens came back on to the start gate for their second race of the day. Eastwood behind Morris. Wheeler sandwiched between Morris and Cooper. Jeff Perrott, number 33, as the board went up. 15 seconds, 5 seconds. The gate was about to drop. Left the inside once again. It was Merv the swerve. Mervyn Anstey. But Morris has got another blister in style. Justin Morris must be on an elastic band off that gate. Morris. This time it's Herring. Then Ed Bradley. Then Cooper. And I think that could well be Stacey Harmon there on the 79 Husqvarna. There aren't too many 4-strokes in this championship, but they're going quite well. It's Herring. Herring has got the lead. Where is Morris? Well, Robbie Herring, obviously very annoyed about the result in race 1, has decided to make amends in race 2. And is he doing it in style or what? Just look at that. Airborne for the RWJ Honda. Morris is second. And Cooper is behind him in third. That was Ed Bradley in fourth. That's a great ride from Bradley at the moment. There is Eastwood. He's got a lot of work to do. 43, Warren Edwards, second in race 1. Having to work hard at the moment to get a good result in race 2. But look at this, we've got a battle between Justin Morris and Paul Cooper. Fowler's Honda versus SoCal Kawasaki, and can Cooper get through? There is Herring, well in style, the fish. And Cooper has got through, up to second. 27 points if he stays where he is, 30 if he can catch Herring. There is Morris, back in third, 25 points. This young man who was under Dave Thorpe's wing last year is going very, very well. 43, Edwards, now up with Bradley. And Edwards looking to elevate himself a position here. Can Bradley hold off the Supercross rider? This track absolutely littered with jumps from one side to the other. Well, the kids are having fun. Time for a break for Mum. Give them a chance to have a break from the racing. But somebody has gone down here, and very heavily it is as well. He looks to have concussed himself. He's not in what one describes the best of fitness at the moment, as Herring comes around to win race 2. Paul Cooper came home to finish second. Justin Morris was to finish third. And in fourth, it was Warren Edwards, number 43. Behind him, number 3, Mark Eastwood. And then it was David Campbell. But it's Adam Lyons, the rider who's crashed, number 93. He's up on his feet and glad to report that he was only shaken and bruised. Here we go then. 1-2-5s. And the open class boys all mixed up together. And we've got problems on the first corner. And Paul Cooper amongst those problems, and so is Dennis Hewitson. Craig Bradley also caught up in that. So was Carl Nunn. There's Paul Malin as well, he's caught up in that. And that is Mark Eastwood. Well, he says, I'm all right, let me get back on the bike. I need to catch them up. Well, he's hurt his right hand, but it would seem. And somebody else has gone down, that's Anstey. And he's collected, I think it's Jason Higgs, yes it is. Number 19, well, will you move your bike? I've got a race to race in. Higgsy goes down with Anstey. And Carlson also caught up in that first corner crash. But Justin Morris deciding, well, I might as well make good of this, and he's off in the lead. Edwards behind him. 45, that's Steele. And look at this. That was Wheeler on the KTM. And Malin going absolutely banzai, trying to catch up the riders in front. And Robbie Herring, well, all those possible points that he could have scored have just gone completely out the window. Pratley going through. Matthew Nelms. Jamie Bridden amongst that group going through, but there is Cooper, and Paul Cooper has lit the afterburner on that so-called Kawasaki. Right at the back, after crashing on that first corner, he has gone ballistic. He is the fastest man around his circuit at the moment, but Justin Morris, totally unaware of what's going on behind him, leads comfortably. Can he hang on to the checkered flag? Looking back for second, and it's Wheeler! With Michael Bergman there, that's Brian Wheeler on the KTM. There's Warren Edwards back behind those two. Craig Pratley, G-Shock Casio Suzuki trying to pick up from that first corner crash. Well, all our top riders, literally all our top riders went down in that first corner, including this one, Cooper. But Cooper has turned up the afterburner. He is, without a doubt, the quickest man at the moment. Bradley, Prince behind him. The battle is on for the 125, but there is Cooper scything his way through the pack at unbelievable rate. There is Wheeler, second for him, behind Justin Morris. 49, Brian Steele. The young, softly spoken Irishman having a great race. Here comes Malin. Had to pick himself up from that first corner crash. Has had to wind the Cadbury's Boost Yamaha up to its full potential. Hewitson. And Hewitson tucked right up behind, I think that was Tony Marshall. Indeed he was, number 16. Here comes the flying Cooper man. And flying is probably the best description for him today in this last race. Neil Prince, number 6. Top 125 rider at the moment in this race. And there's a celebrity, that's John Marshall, Tony Marshall's dad, watching the progress of his son. But here's one man to keep your eye on as far as progress is concerned, because Cooper has just gone crazy. He is out jumping everybody around the circuit, and he's after Justin Morris. Cooper's gone to second. Here comes David Campbell, and there is Tony Marshall with, I think that was the number 18 bike of Jonathan Pettit in front of him. So young Tony Marshall riding for Tim Britton cars for this year, as he did last year. But look at this, you cannot believe. Cooper has come right from the back, has come right through the pack, and is now leading. Well, if Paul Cooper could do this at every round, there'd be no doubt as to who would keep that number 1 plate for next year. Justin Morris must be wondering, well, where did he come from? And Brian Wheeler, well, that's where Brian Wheeler went. Out of the race with a broken rear sprocket. Ryan Vose, 32. Here comes Cooper, and he takes the checkered flag. What a race for Cooper. Justin Morris comes home second. Neil Prince comes home third. Top 125. His teammate Carl Nunn followed him home for fourth. Then it was Brian Steele and Craig Pratley. There's Tim Britton from Tim Britton Cars. After the race, we grabbed a quick word with Justin Morris.
Justin, absolute blinding day. Finished overall winner. You must be very pleased.
Yeah, it's my very first overall win in the Open Championship. I was very lucky with all the other guys having misfortunes in the start and everything, but got 3 blinding starts and just stuck with it and ended up overall winner.
Well, adding up the results, well, let's dive across the paddock and talk to some of the Cat Finning squad.
David, 2 of your top boys here today, Neil Prince, Carl Nunn. You must be pleased as a team manager.
Yeah, they did really well today. It was a good race for them. I was very pleased with the last race. It was nice to see them up there against the 250s.
Well, these 2 boys were battling each other in the last race. I was beginning to wonder which one of them was going to come out on top.
Yeah, I didn't mind which one come out on top as long as they both didn't end up on the floor. That was my only concern at one stage.
Neil Prince, 3rd overall today, behind your teammate Carl Nunn. You must be happy with that result.
Yeah, I'm very happy. The first 2 races, like the first 15 minutes into the races, took me quite a bit of time to get going. I got going, and in the last race I was already going. So it just all come together.
Carl, you're 2nd overall, and that's a result you can't be too unhappy with.
No, I had a good race day today. Good 3 consistent races. Got good starts in the first 2. I went down on the first turn in the last race and done all the work early on. So had a very good day. I'm very pleased.
One man that's had his ups and downs today, that's Paul Cooper.
Yeah, it was a very different day. I went down the first corner like in 2 races, which I didn't really want to be doing, and I gave myself a lot of work to do. But everything worked out really well, and I ended up getting second overall. I would like to have won, but it worked out pretty well anyway.
Well, that last race, I think you went ballistic because you were going faster than anybody else on the circuit.
Yeah, well, I had to, didn't I? I mean, I was so far behind Justin that I really had to do everything I could, and I just hit every jump as fast as I could, and just really let it all hang out.
And the young man that we don't often get to speak to up on the rostrum, but it's great for him today, finishing third, Warren Edwards. You've got to be pleased with that result.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. Like you say, it's been a long time since I've been on a podium. It surprised me more than anyone, especially around this track. It's not particularly one of my favourite ones. But the day's gone good. The first 2 races were superb. The last race I was exhausted, but managed just to do enough to get third overall. Well pleased.
Round 4 of the Morris Lubricants Championship came to the famous Shropshire Circuit and the home of Morris Lubricants here at Hawkstone Park. The 125's got off the line and they were led away by the Cadbury's boost man, number 40, Paul Malin. In hot pursuit, the Dane, Brian Jorgensen, and Carl Nunn there in third. Craig Prattley was back around fourth. Then it was Carlson and Neil Prince on the number 6 Cat Finnin Honda. This is the track where Princey won that 94 British Crown. But it was Malin that went through to take the win. Jorgensen came home second, then it was Nunny, then Craig Prattley and the number 2 bike of Joachim Carlson. He finished fifth and he was followed home by Neil Prince. Well, the open class boys came onto the line and racing on a sandy circuit, once again the world champion Stefan Everts. What can Everts do here? Well, up that start straight once again went Mervyn Anstey on the number 9 Bike Sport Honda. But it was Everts that led them through. Eastwood was around there as well. But Everts certainly on a circuit that would suit his riding style and his ability thoroughly down to the ground. Justin Morris having a great ride. There is Mervyn Anstey. And Brian Wheeler with a new sprocket fitted to the back of the KTM. Dennis Hewitson finding the sand just a little slippery. But no doubt about who was at the front, but it's second then for Justin Morris. He was having a tremendous ride, but there was a tremendous battle going on behind him. Cooper, Campbell, they were all in there. There's Morris, and there comes Cooper through the whoops, trying to pass Morris, and there's Eastwood. Those dreaded Hawkstone whoops can catch anyone out. Robbie Herring, not a good start to the day's racing. But Cooper having a tremendous ride. Now into second, Morris down to third. And Eastwood really going for it, picking up places lap after lap. But it was the world champion Everts that took the checkered flag in race 1. Number 9, that was Mervyn Anstey. He finished 16th. Then it was Cooper. Then it was Eastwood. Then Morris. And then Jason Higgs. And in 6th position came number 15, David Campbell. Well, the 125s came back out onto the line for their second race of the day. Led, of course, by the number 40 bike of Paul Malin. Neil Prince, with fond memories of that 94 championship when he became British 125 champion here at Hawkstone Park, probably still fresh in his mind. Well, at this point, the weather changed, and as you can see, it wasn't for the better. Up went the brollies, the rain came down, and track conditions were obviously going to change quite dramatically. Gate dropped, and off that straight they went into the right-hander, into the woods. And number 72 here, this was Ben Taylor from Purley on a Wiseco Honda. But it was Jorgensen that led them away. Malin was going to have to work hard in this race if he wanted to get back at the front, but it was all to go wrong for Paul Malin. An electrical fault putting out the Cadbury's Booth rider in the first couple of laps. But the battles were certainly on. Carlson chasing there, Craig Prattley, then Neil Prince coming through on the Cat Finnin Honda. He had one of the Sky Mast boys right behind him, and there's Tony Marshall, number 16, on the Tim Britton Yamaha. Jorgensen, number 42, on the Casio G-Shock Suzuki, chasing the Tim Britton bike. But we were certainly going to be on for a fly here. Number 30 there, that was Jamie Brereton with Lee Williams on the Sand of Honda. And out of the race went this young man, number 74. That was Stuart Haywood. Well, Carl Nunn going through with his teammate Neil Prince behind him. Then Jorgensen. The sand here was to take its prisoners as Lee Williams comes through with Craig Prattley and Carlson battling for first and second. Then it was Jorgensen back in third. Then Carl Nunn back in fourth. Behind Carl Nunn, teammate Neil Prince on his local circuit. But look at this. Is Carlson going to beat him? He is. Carlson takes the win, and Craig Prattley obviously very bitterly disappointed about that result. Well, Brian Still led the open class down onto the line for their second race. And as you can see, the weather hadn't improved. Not that I was really worrying, because I was in the commentary tower, keeping lovely and dry. The gate dropped. Up that famous start straight they went yet again. And just look at the rain. Someone's gone down, and guess what? It's Steve McMillan, number 35. Well, Steve seems to have a reputation for throwing the bike away. David Campbell it is that leads. He's got the world champion Stefan Everts right behind him, and I think that's not going to be for long. And on cue, Everts powers the HRC Honda up the hill. One would only expect this Belgian rider to excel here in the sand of Hawkstone Park. But Davy Campbell gave him a run for his money for the first couple of laps. And behind Campbell came Herring, trying to make up from his disappointments in race one. And there was Cooper right behind Herring. And Cooper also having to make up from not the best of results from race one. Well, he finished second. He wanted a win. The SoCal Raider going through the sand. He's passed Robbie Herring into the deep sand hole they come. Justin Morris not having the best of the second races. Number 3, Mark Eastwood, having to contend with the deep sand. Cooper going through. Herring still there behind him. And that was 31, that's Andy Gilbert. Up the hill they go, the mechanics urging them on. Herring chasing Cooper. Well, at the checkered flag, it was to be the world champion Stefan Everts. Herring came home third behind Cooper. Then it was Mark Eastwood, followed by Justin Morris, number 7. And behind Morris, it was the number 25 bike of Dennis Hewitson, the South African. Well, the weather actually improved. The sun came out again as the riders prepared to come down to the line for the last race of the day, led by the world champion Everts.
19.
Best of the 250-500 riders, best of the 125 riders. This was the superclass race. The gate dropped, and up that start straight they roared. Into the right-hander, into the woods where they go out of view, and that's usually where all the problems happen. But it was Everts with absolutely no problems whatsoever. He led them away. The battles were on behind, once again, between Herring and Justin Morris this time. Cooper, at the moment, nowhere to be seen. Up the famous Hawkstone Hill. 18-14, that was Nathan Shelton. And there's Carlson, number 2. Carlson having to charge here. Hewitson behind him. They attack that Hawkstone Hill. And that looks very much like James Payton, the 26 Kawasaki, behind that group. Over the Yamaha leap came the world champion. Stefan Everts made his return to British Championship racing here at Hawkstone Park after missing the last round, and certainly has done it in fine style. But look at Justin Morris. There is Cooper behind him. And behind that group and charging for points, number 40. That was, of course, Paul Malin, a DNF in race 2. Was his luck going to change in this last race of the day? He leads the championship. Craig Prattley going past Justin Morris. Well, Craig Prattley on another inspired ride, but it wasn't again for Paul Malin. The hand went up. A second electrical problem put Malin out of the reckoning. Well, what can he do? Cooper going through. Well, Malin walks away with his brother pushing the bike. Well, that's 2 DNFs, a possible 60 points down the drain. Well, Paul Malin still leads the championship, but that lead has now been reduced. It was then the world champion Everts that won the race. Brian Jorgensen finishing 4th behind Robbie Herring and Paul Cooper. And there is Jorgensen, the overall winner of the 125 class. And the Dane obviously likes the sand here at Hawkstone. Top 3 then in the open class then. STEFAN Everts, Robbie Herring, well, Paul Cooper, then Robbie Herring in 3rd. Round 5 at Ellsworth, and we spoke to Paul Malin about his disappointment from Hawkstone.
Paul, leading the 125 championship at the moment, and your world-class results, 2nd overall, Hungary last week. Got to be pleased with that.
Yeah. Everyone was saying to me after Hawkstone at the last round, you know, a couple of bike problems, how are you going to sort of, you know, get your head around it and get your ass back into gear kind of thing, but the problem at Hawkstone wasn't me, it was like a bike problem. It wasn't nothing to do with the mechanicking of the bike, it was just like an electrical fault, and it couldn't be avoided. But you know, I knew in my own mind that I was riding okay anyway, and that I could carry that over to the Grand Prix. And for the last 3 Grand Prix I've been very consistent. I've had a 3rd in Spain, 3rd overall in Holland, 2nd overall last week in Hungary, so yeah, 3rd in the championship, 10 points off 2nd. It's looking good right now.
Well, things looking very good for Malin in the world class, as well as the British Home Championship. 42, Brian Jorgensen there, wanting to depose Malin from that top spot here in the British Championships. Well, there's another young man that would like to score a few points, the defending champion, number 2, Joachim Carlson. Right behind the championship leader, Paul Malin. Number 10, Carl Nunn. Hoping for better things before the end of the year. The gate dropped then on race 1. These were the 125s. Into that first right-hand corner. Oh dear, Tim Heisman, number 78 there, and I'm not sure that's Carlson. Carlson caught up with Heisman, and it's Craig Pratley that leads them through the whoopie-doos. Pratley. There's Jorgensen. That was Nathan Shelton. I'm not sure whether that was Tony Marshall that was 2nd. If it was, that's a brilliant ride. Danny Tollett just gone through. Looking back for our main challengers. There is Craig Pratley. G-Shock Casio Suzuki. And that looks like Jonathan Pettit, number 18, that's 2nd, not Tony Marshall. There is Malin. That's Teasdale right beside Carlson. Remember, Carlson fell on the opening in that corner. But it is the youngster Craig Pratley from Finstock in Oxfordshire. Malin now up into 2nd. Then it's Neil Prince in 3rd. Then Carl Nunn going through in 4th. One of the Sky Mask boys behind him in 5th place. The crowd look on as Jorgensen. He's way down the field. He's obviously had an off somewhere. There's his teammate. Well, he's not down the field because he's at the head. He leads. Craig Pratley goes for air over the Ellsworth jumps. This circuit could be described as probably Britain's now premier supercross track. There are more jumps in this track than there are at the Olympic Games. There's Neil Prince. Where is Malin? And the answer is there, right tucked up behind the race leader. And going for the lead. Malin only knows one place, and that's at first at the front. Stephen Sword, number 46, Sky Mask Suzuki. 28 and number 2 going through Neil Carnell and of course Yoki Carlson. Malin's got the lead. He's found a way past the Suzuki of Pratley. Pratley now down to 2nd. Looking back for 3rd. There's Steve Dixon. Fingers crossed that the bike will not expire again. Very embarrassing moments for a mechanic. Checkered flag then for Paul Malin. Craig Pratley came home 2nd. Neil Prince on the number 6, Catfin in Honda, was to finish 3rd. Jorgensen finished down in 23rd place. Number 10, Carl Nunn, he finished 4th. Then Carlson charged through to finish 5th. And what a respectable result that was when you consider where he was after the start gate. And 46, Stephen Sword, he finished 6th. Well, there is Barbara Laws from Dunlop, sticking some Dunlop stickers onto Tim Wheeler's KTM, hoping that that will make it go a bit quicker. Paul Cooper preparing for the start of race 1. Here they come. Down into that treacherous right-hand corner. Mervyn Anstey does what Mervyn Anstey does best and gets the whole shot. Oh, we've got a tumble here. Well, they've managed to part themselves, but it's Wheeler. Well, just goes to show what Dunlop stickers and Dunlop tyres can do for a KTM. Wheeler leads them away. But not for long, because here comes Justin Morris. Mark Eastwood on the inside, then it's Everts, then it's Wheeler down to 4th. There is Cooper. Where is Herring? There's Jason Higgs with a change of machine, and there's Herring. He's got Hewitson behind him. Justin Morris leading then. It's the world champion Everts into 2nd. Then it is Eastwood, then Wheeler, and then Cooper 5th. Somebody's on the floor. It's Cat Finning Honda man. Daniel Smith, he's taken a tumble here at Ellsworth off one of the big jumps. There's his team manager, David Thorpe, picking up the bike and incidentally riding a 250 here instead of the 500. It's Morris, still leading from Everts. Eastwood, and Cooper takes the long way round on the SoCal Quacker. Morris still. Where is Everts? And the answer is Everts has been off the bike. Everts has gone through the whoopie-doos. There's Herring, beginning to catch the riders in front, but we've lost the world champion. And there he is, bent handlebars, has injured his shoulder a little bit, I think. Off through the whoopie-doos. Well, that's not like Stefan Everts. The battle then on at the front. It's Cooper now that leads from Eastwood, Herring up to 3rd. Where has the number 7 Fowler's Honda of Justin Morris gone? Somebody off the bike. We've got a rider down. This is going to slow things up a little bit. It's 95, Sean Cousins. As 89, that's Mike Berman gets the black flag. The steward obviously deciding that he's done something very wrong. In the lead then, it's Cooper on the SoCal Kawasaki. 2nd behind him, RWJ's Robbie Herring. Behind Herring at the moment, it should be Wisecoat Piston, and it is Mark Eastwood. Then Dennis Hewitson, he's having a great ride here, should like the track. The battle certainly was on at the front. Herring climbing all over Cooper, but Cooper takes the result. Herring gets 2nd and the 27 points. Eastwood comes home 3rd for the 25 points. And then in 4th place, it was that man, Dennis Hewitson. Number 7, he finished 5th as Justin Morris. And behind Morris, number 19, a great ride for him, Jason Higgs. And you can see Morris had a puncher. Well, Brian Steele, number 45, he finished 7th. He got the dreaded noise test. Well, safely to say that he passed with flying colours as Paul Malin led them down onto the start for the 2nd of the 125 races. Brian Jorgensen, Neil Prince across the back of that group. Nathan Shelton, number 14, beside Malin, sandwiched between Malin and Carlson. Hoping to get a drag off the start. Well, at this point, the rain started to fall. Circuit conditions were to become very, very slippery, as they always do here at Ellsworth when it rains. Hard packed around the jumps, but Malin absolutely making no mistake this time. Carlson in 2nd place. Looking back behind Carlson, it was Prince, then Pratley, then Nunny was amongst that group. Through the whoopie-doos as the rain fell and the track got slipperier and slipperier as Jochen Carlson had to contend with the conditions. The back of the bike sliding everywhere. Pratley 3rd, Carl Nunn 4th, 5th now for Neil Prince. 32 Ryan Vos going through, and a battle on between Jorgensen and number 28, that's Neil Carnell again. Nathan Shelton on the number 14 bike, looking to be heading back for an early wash 56. Phil Neal, well, wasn't a good race for him either. But it was a good race for this man, number 40. Paul Malin gingerly picks his way through the jumps. Circuit conditions extremely treacherous as Carl Nunn makes a bid for second and takes Carlson. Oh, the Swede obviously a little pensive around the slippery tracks. There is Craig Prattley, he's down in fourth. Behind him is now Carlson. So Prattley moves up a place. There's Jorgensen going through 42. And a battle on here between Jonathan White and Tim Heisman on the Vortex Suzuki. Jonathan White, former AMCA starlet. And the battle on here because Carlson is now catching Princey. There is Malin. He's going to take the checkered flag for sure. Craig Prattley's going to come home in third place. Second, it was Carl Nunn. Fourth, then for Neil Prince, number 6. Jorgensen was to come home and finish 5th. And behind him, young Tony Marshall. Well, he actually finished 7th behind 32, Ryan Vose. Paul Malin relaxes before the next of the open class races. Signs a few autographs for his fans. Always very obliging is Paul Malin. Here we go, open class race number 2. It looks like Robbie Herring that's got the whole shot. 71 goes down in that first corner. It's Trevor Cubitt with 27 Ed Bradley, but it is Herring that's led them away through the whoopie-doos. Looking back behind Herring, it should be Everts. And it's Cooper. Where is Everts? Still going through. There's Everts back in 5th. He's right with Morris and just about to pass him. Herring it is. He looks over his shoulder to see where the opposition are currently lined at the moment. And there is Cooper behind him. Everts now up to 3rd. Because Steele has gone down to 4th. Ryan Steele, the Irishman, having a tremendous ride. Eastwood with Hewitson. Cooper. Everts behind Cooper. We've got a battle on here for second place. Can the world champion redeem himself from that crash in race 1? Justin Morris with the goggles over the handlebars. A tussle on here. Brian Steele and Mark Eastwood, number 3. And young Steele has got Hewitson there behind him. Well, Ed Bradley looks to be retiring, the number 27 bike. Crashing off the start. Here comes Herring, he still leads. And Everts now up into 2nd. Cooper down to 3rd. Eastwood up to 4th. Well, the positions changing as they normally do here at Ellsworth. It's a very tight, jumped, strewn track. The mechanics looking on. Herring it is. Goes through the jumps in beautiful style. He comes around, pops a wheelie. Herring then wins race 2. Everts was 2nd, Cooper was 3rd, Eastwood was 4th, and Steele, he finished 5th in front of Dennis Hewitson. Well, the power washers are on. Get the mud off the bike. This is Brian Steele's bike, the Irishman. That's the machine of number 26, young Payton, James Payton from Abingdon, Oxford. Well, the crowd look on as the riders, fully washed, cleaned up and prepared, come down to the line for the last race of the day. Mark Hucklebridge, number 22 there. Top 20 from the open class, top 20 from the 125 go head to head. Who is it going to be? Into that right-hand corner. Well, that looks like Craig Prattley that's up alongside Stephen Sword and Ryan Vose, and Ryan Vose gets away right at the back. Well, any chances of scoring points for him have gone down the drain. It's Cooper then that leads. Everts is 2nd. The race is most certainly on. Morris going through. And Steve. And there's Malin. There's Eastwood. And Jason Higgs having a tremendous battle with Eastwood. And a problem for Justin Morris. It looks like the clutch lever's gone. It has. dropped the bike, clutch lever broke off. Well, there's no chance. Kelly Swanson just gone through. Neil Prince there behind that group. There is Carlson. I think finding the slippery track conditions here at Ellsworth not quite to his liking. Malin. Second in the world at the moment. Leading the British Championship, the 125 series. There is Cooper behind Jamie Brearden, just about to lap him. There is Stefan Everts. Everts battling for the World Championship. There is Heron. 1 lap to go. Malin goes through. He really is the revelation of British 125 racing at the moment. Everts it was then that led and won the last race of the day. Cooper chased him home in second place, and we went over and spoke to Stefan.
Stefan, second in the World 250 Championship at the moment. I believe you've dropped out of first place in the British National Championship. It's a lot of work for you still to do.
Yeah, I lost a lot of points, especially in the first moto. I crashed and I bent the handlebars and I hurt my back a little bit.
Obviously, you're concentrating very much on the World Championship to retain that #1 plate for 1997, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. I did a lot of work the last few weeks because my physical condition was not 100%, and it's going in the right direction now, and I think for the next GP it will be okay.
Mark Eastwood, good result, third here today at Ellsworth Motor Park. You have to be pleased with that result.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm happy with it. I had 3 consistent rides. Haven't put them in for a while. At Waits Cone I had a bad race in the last one, and also at Hawkstone I had a bad race in the last one, so it's nice to get 3 consistent results to 3rd and 2 fourths. Trouble is though, Coops and Robbie were up front of me, so that's helped them out, but yeah, I'm pleased,
Well, the overall result for the 125s, Malin, Nunn and Prattley then, and the overall results for the Open with Herring, Cooper and Eastwood. Needless to say, it was a great day's racing, even if it did rain. Everybody certainly enjoyed themselves, least of all the crowd. Pete Plummer there from the ACU and Trolls and Motocross News. Herring, Cooper and Eastwood spray the champagne if it wasn't wet enough.
Hello, I'm Brian Wheeler and I ride the fastest motocross bike on the track, KTM.
Well, from KTM to Kawasaki, we dived into the Kawasaki camp to speak to some of the boys and the team manager.
Hi, I'm James Paynton. I'm on the number 26 Team Green Kawasaki.
These are the legs of Ricky Priest.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. We've had a few problems with Ricky being injured this year. Dennis Hewitson has proved to be somewhat of a revelation. He's come on this year really, really strong. Paul Cooper, who's included in Kawasaki, he's leading the championship, so we're so far having a good year.
Well, a good year for Kawasaki with Paul Cooper and the guys, and here they go. This is the first of the 125 races off the line. And a cracking start it was for Carl Nunn. Number 10, the Cat, Finning Honda boy, with Dave Thorpe as the team manager, Jorgensen. Then it was Malin, Priesty going through, Vose, Neil Prince, and Craig Prattley, Casio, G-Shock, Suzuki. The battles are on here. This is Neil Shepherd on the 38 bike with Ryan Vose on the 32 Skymar Suzuki. Shepherd having an inspired ride. Checkered flag came out. It was Carl Nunn from pillar to post. Malin could only chase him home for second place. Ricky Priest came home fourth. Then it was Jorgensen and Jonathan Pettit. Then the open class boys came onto the line for their first race. The new 250 world champion Stefan Everts. What could he do here at the Cullum circuit? Robbie Herring was in determined mood. So was Cooper, first and second. Then it was Morris. Where was Everts? And the answer was there, back in around fourth. Up over the jumps comes Jamie Dobb, back in England, testing for the Motocross to Nations. James Dobb on the board, the 64 Suzuki. But Herring was having none of it. He took the first race comfortably. Behind him in second place, it was that man, Paul Cooper. Behind Cooper, James Dobb finished fourth, but the result wasn't to stand. The 125 boys came onto the line for their second race of the day. Gate was about to drop. Who was it going to be? The roar, and you can hear in the background we've got some aeroplanes performing stunts above the circuit. Well, I can assure you that didn't distract our crowd one iota, because the man at the front, the youngster in the championship, here he is on the number 10 bike, captain in Honda, Carl Nunn. He won race 1. Jorgensen chased him round in second place. Mark Hucklebridge just going through on the 22 bike. This, of course, was Craig Prattley, but big stuff over the jumps. Spectacular parts of the circuit. But look at Paul Malin climbing all over Jorgensen. This was a battle for the lead because Carl Nunn had dropped back. It was Malin eventually that took the win from Jorgensen. Carl Nunn eventually finished third. Then it was Hucklebridge, number 22, Neil Prince and Ricky Priest as the Opens got into their second race of the day. Would Herring do it again? Anstey it is that whole shots with Herring on the inside, but it was Herring that took the checkered flag. 2 wins out of 2 for Robbie Herring as the midpoint entertainment got underway, and an aerobatic display here from the RAF helicopter crew, and it was really spectacular. Open race took off the line, the 125s, the 250s and the 500s. There was Malin on the inside. Who is it going to be that took the win in this one? Remember, James Dobb was around as well. He wasn't counting for points, but he was certainly there to do something about the positions. And down went John Barford, back after his knee injury, but Robbie Herring, he did it. 3 out of 3, what a ride.
Robbie, clean sweep, 3 out of 3. Got to be happy with that?
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased today. I was a bit unsure before today as to whether to ride the 500 or not, but my spare situation with the 500 led me to ride the 250, and I don't think I made a bad decision. You know, the 250 coped with the track really well, and I rode really good. I rode really smooth, good starts, and it's so much easier from the front.
James Dobb, it's a pleasure to see you back in the UK, racing in particular here at this penultimate round of the British Championship. Been away in America now 3 years. You glad to be back?
Yeah, it's been fun. It was exciting for me today, just seeing all the people that I've not seen in so long. And it was exciting to race back here. I had an enjoyable day, and I'd like to thank everyone that made it possible.
Round 7 and the final round of this Morris Lubricants Championship 1996 got underway with, of course, the 125s. But not everybody got safely through that first chicane of corners. Lee Williams, number 38, a casualty, but he wasn't the only casualty. The race brought to a premature halt when Andy White's son, Jonathan White, crashed quite heavily. But nevertheless, the restart, Carl Nunn went on to win. Malin was second and Princey was third. The open race, the gate dropped and everybody ran for cover into that first corner, and it wasn't Anstey this time. Kelly Swanson decided to take a shortcut, and I'm glad we moved. Robbie Herring came through to take race number 1 win, which is what he needed to get himself up to the top of the championship. Cooper took second. Third then for STEFAN EVERTS, and Herring now leading the championship going into this last round. Needed to win the next race, but it was number 10, Carl Nunn, who set the 125 crowd alight. Led again from start, literally to finish. Absolutely inspired the youngster was. His team manager Dave Thorpe extremely happy with him. Nunny was that won race 2. Race 2 then for the Opens, and this time it was Anstey that got the whole shot. Down the hill, it was Herring once again with his teammates Stefan Everts right behind him in second. Paul Cooper was to finish third. Everything was going on the last race of the day. It was between Herrin and Cooper, but Everts could play a vital role. Herrin had to finish in the top 3, and if Cooper was to win, Herrin had to finish second to take the championship. But what could Everts do? They set off in hot pursuit. Who is it going to be then that got crowned British Open Class Championship? The rain started to fall. It was Everts. Everts did the job for his teammate. He took the win. Cooper chased Everts home in second place, but it wasn't good enough. He had to win the race because this young man, Robbie Herrin, third and first in the championship. He was the new British Open champion. Paul MALIN second in the world and first in the British Championship.
Rob, that's the end of another year of British Championship racing. You've come through. You've won the championship at the death. You must be satisfied with that result.
Yeah, I mean, it is extremely satisfying result today. Coming into today, I was 4 points behind Paul, and you know, I didn't really have a lot to lose because I haven't won the Open Class yet. Paul won it last year, so it's probably a bit more pressure on Paul to retain the title. And I thought about all the different possibilities of where I had to finish, and my plan today was to win the first 2 races and then try and finish behind him in the last race, and it worked out perfect. But it may not have worked out that way, so I was very fortunate that you know, things went my way today.
Token of my generosity, you won the last race today in fine style.
Thanks,
congratulations. Take care of this trophy.
I will. I will cherish them forever, and they will take pride of place on my mantelpiece at home.
Okay.
And actually, I wanted to finish third because I needed a new egg cup, but unfortunately I won. So
I nearly got the same as you. Like, I got a 1 and a 2, and you got a 1 and a 1.
Well, I'm pumped. I really am.
My arms are pumped.
Pride of place.
Yeah.
I mean, they're there. Mantelpiece, they're there. There you go.